Welcome to Investing with Stef YouTube channel. My name is Stefan, and in this video we talk about the margin of safety. And what is the margin of safety? Now, if you stick around in this channel, you know that in this channel we talk about investing, and we talk all about how can you start as an investor, and maybe just all the information for you to be a better investor. But today we're going to focus on margin of safety and what is a margin of safety and how do you get a margin of safety in the stock market. Now, if you have read this book before, it's called The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. It's one of Warren Buffett's mentors, and that he learned a lot. He said that in this book, a lot of things. It's quite a thick book, and it's a very daunting read. It's super difficult to read if you don't know the terminologies, but it's a must read for everybody that wants to learn anything about stock market. The two main takeaways you can get from this book is that the market is manic depressive. It goes up and down because people invest with emotion. That's one thing. And the second thing is margin of safety. Buy a company for 50 cents if it's worth $1. So you buy it for less than what it's valued for. That's called the margin of safety. Now, there are three ways that you can calculate a margin of safety in a stock. There are many ways, but three ways that I know that I have learned so far and that I will introduce to you. And those three ways are the 10 cap method, where you use owner's earning, the payback time methods, where you use free cash flow, and then the margin of safety method. And that's what we're going to talk about today, and you use earnings. Now, this is the fourth video in the series of the 4 M's of investing. Before you calculate the margin of safety in a company, you obviously want to learn about the meaning of the company, the management, and the moat. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go have a look at the other videos, and you'll find it super interesting. And this video is going to be valuable for everybody that wants to calculate a buy price for a stock. Now, to do the margin of safety, and you will need 4 types of numbers. You will need the earnings per share. Super easy. You just go on the sites that I'm going to show you now, and you just take the earnings per share. You can calculate a little bit differently, but first you need earnings per share. I will explain later. Then you need the windage growth rate. That means the rate that the company is growing every year. Now, the windage part means you have to estimate how much the company will grow in the next 10 years from now, because what a margin of safety is essentially is you working out what the company will be worth in 10 years from now. Then we're going to work it back to say, okay, how much do we have to pay today that will give us back what we will get in 10 years? What is a safety? What is a good price to pay for it today? Windage price per earnings also means that if you don't know what a price to earnings is, have it in the description below. I did a video on PE ratios to explain what that is, but it simply just means how much the company will sell for from now until the next 10 years. You just work that out as well. I'll explain to you. And then the minimum acceptable rate of return that we want from our money, it's called the MAR. And we always want 15%, because 15% means that we will double our money every 5 years. And most good companies will produce 15% for you. So if we go into my spreadsheet that I made, you can look at the spreadsheet and you can put in the numbers yourself with the Excel sheet. You can put it by hand, you can work it out with a calculator, or a trick that I'll give to you is you can go on to rule1investing.com. This is Phil Town's website. I did a video on Phil Town and why you should follow him as well. Go have a look at that. But on this Rule 1 Investing website, you just go on resources and you type and you press investing calculators. Or on this investing calculators, you're gonna find everything you need to know. And then let me click on it so you can see actually how it looks like. So when you go on investing calculators, you just go down and you will find all the calculators right here for you. So you can see retirement calculator. It's a good thing to do. Sticker price or margin of safety. You will hear me say sticker price a lot. That's also margin of safety. It comes from when you go to the car lot. You'll see that the price on the vehicle is a sticker price, how much you have to buy it for. And then, so you just click on this margin of safety calculator, wait for that one to open, and then here you go, you can just slot in the numbers here and it will give you the margin of safety right here at the bottom. But if you go to the Excel sheet, all we want to know is how much the company will be worth in 10 years, and then we work it back. The numbers we need, these one I explained to you already. The company we will use today is called Armada Hoffler Properties. One of the companies I'm looking into right now is actually one of my favorite companies, and also Phil Town's favorite company. So, or one of his favorite companies. You can use Yahoo Finance. You can use Phil Town's Toolbox that I highly recommend. You can use Morningstar. You can use this one that I haven't introduced to you yet. It's called Macro Trends. Macro Trends is where I find a lot of information on financials. And then you can also use my favorite other one is called Ticker Terminal. Ticker Terminal, I did a video on this, or what type of websites to use. Go have a look at that video as well. So let's go straight into the numbers. The first number that we will need is the earnings per share. Let's go get the earnings per share. I put 0.45 here. That just means the current earnings per share. So you take the earnings of the company and you divide it by the shares outstanding, and you will get earnings per share that is outstanding. So I used a 45. So if you go here, you will see that the earnings per share of Armada Hoffler is 38. The reason why I use 45 is because you go back the last 10 years and you see average what it is and what the current one is. So you can just, if you study the company, you will understand which one to use. So if I go to the earnings per share, I'll just show you quickly. You see the earnings per share range from about 28 and went to $1.12, and it's average about 40, 50, 30 year last time, and now obviously 2020 was an odd year. The reason why you don't want to take the last earnings per share that they have is because it might have been an odd year, like with the cerveza sickness that happened now, or it could have been something like this, you know, just all of a sudden they expanded, they grow, and the earnings per share shot up so much. So you don't want to use, you just don't want to use any earnings per share. You want to use an average that you have studied the company and just see which one you are comfortable with and which one you think the future will hold. So I used the 45, and that one is comfortable for me. And then the windage growth rate is the growth rate that it had for the last 10 years and how much you think the next 10 years will have. It's not a scientific number. It is a number that you have to feel it. And the more you learn about companies, the more you read, the more you will understand about that company. But I used 9%. I think it's relatively conservative. You know, the analyst says 5. So you can go on Yahoo Finance, you can go on analyst. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. Let's go to analyst. So if you go down here, you'll see that the analyst says 5%. So they also want to be a little bit conservative. If you go to Phil Town's calculator and you look at his earnings per share growth rate, you'll see that the earnings per share grew quite a lot, but the sales growth rate is 15, 8, 8, and then a 49. So I think that it will grow around about 10 plus, but 9 is a nice conservative number. We'll play around with the number and you'll see. And I think for the next 10 years they're going to easily grow by 10, close to 15%, as they have invested quite a lot in new properties. Oh, I never introduced Armada Hoffler to you. Armada Hoffler is a property development company. They specialize in residential real estate, and they're also in multifamily real estate, only in the southeast of America. So I used 9. So let's put in 9 there for my windage growth rate, and then your windage PE ratio. That is not the current PE ratio or the last 10 years PE ratio, but that is an average PE ratio that you can work out. There are 2 ways you can work it out. The first way you work it out is you can either double the growth rate. So you double this one and you get to 18. Or what you can do is you can use the historic highest PE for the last 10 years. Now, to show you the historic PE for Armada is a little bit out of whack. So again, I use a macro trends. I go to PE ratio, price ratios, and I go to PE ratio, and then you'll see what the last 10 years PE ratio was. Actually, they don't have 10 years numbers. They have until about 2013, so it's about 8 years, 7-8 years. So you can see 14 go down to about 7 and go up to 44. At the moment they are trading at 35, 36. So you don't want to just use the highest PE ratio, because PE ratio just means how much somebody is willing to buy that whole company for. So they're willing to pay 44 times what the company's earning is right now for the whole company. Now they're willing to pay 35 because they think that the growth of this company is the future of this company is still bright, and it looks good. So I didn't want to use 35. I didn't want to use 19. I didn't want to use the lowest one of 7. So I'm thinking conservative around about 20 to give you an example. So we're going to use 20 here for the PE ratio, or you could have used 18. But 20 sounds good for me. And then the minimum acceptable rate of return, that's going to be 15%. We always stay with 15%. Probably in the stock market now they use about 7-8%. The S&P 500 is around about 8%. So let's keep this 15. So if you slot in all these numbers, you're going to get a future 10-year earnings per share. So that means that the earnings per share that it is right now, you want to multiply it till you get to 10 years and see how much it will be in 10 years. How do we do that? The formula we do that is we take the earnings per share right now, we multiply it by 1.09 because 9%, and then you to the power of 10. What I did was I used a formula that you can look here. You say that B8 times 1.1 plus this percentage to the power of 10, and you're going to get to 1.06 for the earnings per share. And then the future share price then will be, because you will take this earnings per share and you multiply it by the windage PE ratio to get to the earnings per share, and or the share price in 10 years will be around about $21. So $21 is around about 9% or 15 acceptable rate of return. And then you're not gonna pay this price for it, because that's in 10 years what the price will be. So now we have to work it back and see how much it will be. How do we work it back? We work it back by 15%. Now with 15% you double every 5 years, you double again 5 years. So if 1 will double once in 5 years, will go to 2, and then double again to go to 4. So you take, it's gonna go to 1 will go to 4 if you double it 2 times. So now you want to divide it basically by 4 to get to the price that you will get it today. So if you take 5 times double once, so that's going to be 10, so that's 5 years, and double again is going to be this much, is going to be 21 for 10 years. So the price that we are willing to pay for it right now today is $5.20. But this is the fair value. This is not the margin of safety. This is where the margin of safety comes in, because we want to have a nice cushion. We want to have a protection against the vicissitudes of life. Anything can happen. So you want to have a 50% discount to that. So a 50% discount to the fair price is the margin of safety, and that is $2.60. So we are willing to pay $2.60 for Armada Hoffler today. So this was our calculators. Let's go see in Phil Town's calculator if that is what we're going to get. So the earnings per share right now, I put 0.45. The future growth rate, I said this was the windage growth rate, I said it's going to be 9%. The minimum acceptable rate of return, we said it's going to be 50. The number of years we're going to look at is going to be 10 years. And the future PE ratio that we think the people are willing to pay for it is going to be 20. Let's see how much that is going to be. Let's do that. There we go. So future earnings per share is $1. Let's see if we are right. Yes, 1 here. Let's see, the sticker price that they got was 5. Let's see what we got. We got 5.2. Very close. The future value of the company will be $21. We got it here. The future value of the company will be $21. What is their margin of safety? $3. We got $2.60. So basically, with this type of formulas, what you can do with these type of formulas, you can work it out yourself on Excel sheet, or you can just not cheat, but you can just make it faster and quicker and go on Phil Town's website and work it out yourself. You can play around with different companies, put in the numbers there, and you can get your margin of safety, and that is the price that you want to pay for the company. If you find some value in this video, go ahead and like the video. I really appreciate that. If you have any questions, if you didn't understand anything really well, please let me know down below. I will help you. I'll reach out to you. We'll work together, and have a look at my other videos. I highly recommend. I mean, I don't want to be biased with my videos, but I highly recommend just get some information on my videos, or even just look at all the people that I refer to, and you will get a lot of information from them. Other than that, this is the way that we're gonna do the margin of safety. This is the end of the series. I hope that you liked it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.